About a week after the first encounter, I returned to the swamp, not to find her. I honestly didn't expect to, but because that place had become a quiet escape from the world. No hikers came here, just jungle, mud, insects, wild animals, and the kind of silence you only find in places where nature still wins. Eventually, I reached the familiar mound. I wasn't looking for anything, just retracing my steps. But something felt different this time. The atmosphere shifted, like walking from one room into another. Not better or worse, just altered. I climbed the mound and poked around. The ground was made of shells and sand. Nothing unusual, except some panther tracks that reminded me where I was. Then, like before, it started. A wave of warmth, a subtle blue glow around the mound, and before I could process it, everything faded. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't in the swamp anymore. The light was soft, the air still. I was in a circular room with a bluish tint, and standing in front of me was her, the woman I rescued from the mangroves, smiling like she'd been waiting for me. There were others in the room, 5, maybe more, men and women, all taller than her, all wearing form-fitting suits, all watching me, not coldly, just curiously. One of the women moved toward me. She approached quietly and, to my surprise, began to examine me by scent. She leaned in and sniffed me from my knees to my neck, like I was an animal she'd never encountered. I stepped back instinctively. She recoiled slightly. My friend immediately intervened, stepping closer to me, protective but calm. She led me to a group of 3 who seemed more senior. One stood to greet me, but was unsure how. I offered a handshake. After some encouragement from my friend, he returned the gesture. Hesitant at first, but once I showed him how, he understood. There was a quiet mutual respect in that simple exchange. My friend walked beside me as I explored the space. She was fully healed now, her movements smooth and confident. She answered my questions carefully, learning my language as she went. She told me she had brought me here so her colleagues could meet the one who had helped her. Their kind didn't usually engage like this, but our meeting had been unexpected. She admitted her mistake, wandering off from her ship, but also expressed gratitude. She said I made her feel safe. That meant something to them. I asked her name, and she gave it without hesitation. Semjase. She learned mine in return. Z, amused by its simplicity. Then she mimicked my earlier handshake with exaggerated seriousness, turning it into a moment of shared humor. She had a sense of playfulness behind her calm presence. The others returned to their tasks. I observed them quietly. The space was windowless, round, and minimal. The walls were slightly rough, the floor soft beneath my boots. The air had a clarity to it, easier to breathe. They looked like us, just more refined. I noticed differences, like their ears, but subtle ones. I asked Semjase if I could see hers. She smiled and nodded. Her hair was soft, her ear long and narrow, but nothing extreme, just different. She watched me curiously as I explored, seemingly pleased by my interest. She told me this encounter wasn't routine for them, that how I responded to her, gently, with care, was not what they expected from someone like me, but she was glad it had happened. So was I. Eventually, the captain approached. He shook my hand, formally, briefly, and walked away. Then Semjase guided me to a soft patch on the floor, smiled again, and stepped back. I looked into her eyes one more time. She nodded, and I closed my eyes. A deep stillness filled me, and the light began. Then I was back on the mound, alone. No lights, no ship, nothing above me. But the warmth lingered, and I knew it hadn't been a dream. I have no idea why this happened to me, or why what happened even happened at all. But I think it is something that has so much value that it cannot be ignored. What I do understand is that this experience I am having is amazing. I am so appreciative and feel so blessed to have this happening to me. You may or may not believe what you read. I do not care. I feel the information is so valuable to those who will connect to these things I have learned that it is very important to us as humans. I have nothing to gain by telling my diary. I only have everything to lose. That is how important it is that I pass on the message.